everyone, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now Father's Day is coming, so I thought it would be fun to pull out an old pattern that I designed about 16 years ago. Really simple coffee cup sleeve. And when I was thinking about doing this, I remembered that I had this, and I bought this at the Dollar Tree. It's a cup. Let me pull the sleeve off of it. That has this piece inside that you can write a note on or put some pictures in, like it shows here. And then you just slide this back inside and it snaps right back on, and you can put a note in there. Or you can just use your basic coffee cup that you get when you go to Starbucks or some of the other coffee shops. And this is called a coffee cup sleeve because the intention of it is to protect your hand from those hot coffees. All right, so it works on just about any size of your to-go cups. But I wanted to show you this because I thought it was super cool. I purchased it at the local Dollar Tree here in Mustang, Oklahoma. All right, and so I'm going to show you how to make the sleeve to go on the cup. And you can use it for Father's Day, Mother's Day, any day you want, or just a fun way to use up some leftover yarns and give someone a fun gift. Or maybe keep it for yourself. Now you can find this simple crochet pattern with pictures on that link that I've provided down in the notes underneath this video. To make our coffee cup sleeve, you just need a little bit of yarn. Less than an ounce of your main color and just a small amount of your trim, and if you want to embroidery something on it. And this is a really simple technique of stitching on dad. All right, so you need just a little bit of yarn, and the yarn that I used is your medium weight number 4 acrylic yarn. You could also make this in cotton or whatever medium weight number 4 yarns you have on hand. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, and you can embellish with buttons as well. And I've just got a few buttons out here just to show you. You can just use whatever kind of buttons, add them anywhere, you know, or embroidery. You can add appliques that are crocheted like flowers and different things, however that you want to embellish your cup sleeve. All right, then you're going to need a needle for weaving in ends and if you embroidery on it. And then, of course, you're going to need your scissors. So we're going to begin with the main color of our cup sleeve. We'll start with our slip knot. And we're going to loosely chain 30 chains. We don't want it too tight because this is going to be the bottom of our sleeve. All right, so we're going to loosely chain 30 chains. So I've loosely chained my 30 chains, and we're going to join this into a circle. Make sure you don't twist it. And we'll go right in that first stitch with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now our chain 1s will not count as a stitch. It's just to get us back up where we need to be. So we're going to go right in that first stitch, and we're going to stitch a half double crochet. So you'll yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. And we'll stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those 30 chains all the way around. One half double crochet in each of the chains, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to that first half double crochet. I have stitched those 30 half double crochets, 1 in each of my 30 chains. We're going to join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. And again, our chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a half double crochet in each of those half double crochets, working all the way around. One half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. And one thing to remember is this is actually the outside, so we want to go ahead and do that, and this is the inside of our sleeve. And it makes it a little bit easier to stitch those stitches when you just sort of flip it like that. All right, so one half double crochet in each of those 30 half double crochets. I stitched one half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. I joined to my first half double crochet and chained one. And now we're going to repeat this row 2 for 2 more rows. I stitched those additional 2 rows of half double crochets. One thing I want to mention is when you join, make sure you don't accidentally add or subtract a stitch, because that can get your stitch count off. Okay, count your stitches, make sure you have 30 on each of those 4 rows, join to the first half double crochet and chain 1. Now we're going to do just a little bit of increasing because we want it to flare out just a little bit so that it fits that cup nicely. So we're going to stitch 2 half double crochets in this first stitch. Then we're going to stitch 1 half double crochet in the next 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we'll stitch 2 in the next. So 1, 2, and then 1 in the next 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll just repeat that one more in these last 10 stitches. 2 half double crochets in the next, and 1 half double crochet in those last 9 stitches. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then we'll join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. And so now we went from having 30 stitches to 33, and that just gives that little bit of flare out that we need to fit our coffee cup. And so now for this next row, we're just going to stitch 1 half double crochet in each of those half double crochets around. And for this row, you're going to have 33 because we increased in 3 different spots from 30 to 33 half double crochets. So 1 half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. So I completed row 6, just stitching 1 half double crochet in each of my stitches around. I'm going to cut my yarn, and I'm going to bring in my second color, and this is just a trim color for the top of our sleeve. All right, so we'll snug that down and chain 1. And the way we do the trim is single crochet in the first single crochet, and then we're going to do what's called a long single crochet or a spike stitch. All right, so instead of stitching in up here where we usually do, we're going to go down 1 row to the row below, and that's going to make a longer stitch. Then we'll go to the next half double crochet and stitch a single crochet. Then we'll go to the next and stitch that long single crochet. And so we're alternating a long single crochet and a regular single crochet around the top of our sleeve. And it makes a really fun look. But if you don't like the long single crochets, you can do just a row of single crochets to keep it a little bit simpler. All right, so we'll just continue working around the top, stitching a single crochet, then a long single crochet, and a long single crochet, all the way around, and then we'll join back over here, and we'll be done and ready to embellish our coffee cup sleeve. Now I finished my row, and you'll notice I have one extra stitch here because we had 33. In order for it to be even, we would need 34 stitches. So here's my last single crochet, and then I added an extra long single crochet in order to make it even. And now I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch, and I'll pull that loop to the inside so we have a nice neat appearance. But you're going to need to add one extra long single crochet here in order for it to even out, or you'll have two single crochets together there. All right, so now I just need to take my needle and weave in my ends, and then we can embellish like I said. I tidied up the blue one, weaved in all the ends, and now I'm going to show you how to embroidery the word dad on here. And you could embroidery the word mom or not put any embroidery on it if you don't want to. It's just a fun little addition that makes it, you know, sort of personal. So I decided to embroidery with the trim color like I did on the other one, and I put the seam right in the back so that its embroidery is going to be right on the front, and we're going to begin with the A. And so I like to use from about here to here, and it's real important that you start in a stitch and not a hole. So let me show you. I'm going to go in that stitch. I'm going to leave some inside to weave in, and I'm going to go down here to this stitch and go across. I didn't measure. This is just eyeballing, making stitches. Then I'll come back down here, and we want to make sure we stitch in the stitch and not the hole in between. All right, so I'm going to come down here to make the bottom portion of the A. And that gives us our center. Okay, then we want to make that D. So we're going to come into that next stitch and want to try to line it up. So I'm going to make two stitches here that are just straight. Again, trying to stitch in the stitches and not the hole in between those stitches. If you stitch in the holes in between the stitches, you'll probably lose your stitches in those holes. Just kind of go like that and back over so that it resembles a D. There we go. And if you want more space in between your letters, of course you can. Now I'm going to go in here because I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to gently go through the backs of those stitches and keep it just a little bit loose. There we go. Because I want to make the D on the other side. All right. And so I'm going to start with that little stitch. form sort of that curve for the D. There we go. Then I'll go in that stitch. And we'll hook up here. And I think I'll come back here. That way we'll get a little bit better looking D. Dad. Now, you could do mom by making M-O-M, or you could leave it off. Okay, and then we'll just weave this in the back. You want to weave it in good, but you want to weave it in just a little bit loose because it needs to have just a little bit of stretch. So I added a little football button to this one, and I'm going to add a little puppy, only I'm going to put it over there. And it doesn't matter whether you're using a button that has holes like this, or you're using one that has this little, what I call a top hat. I don't know if that's even the actual name of it. But the key is to sew those buttons on in the stitches. All right? And what that means, this one's going sideways, so I want to go in a stitch and come up in a stitch and make a loop. All right? Like this. And we'll go ahead and take our crochet hook and pull that end back through, because we want that to be on the inside so we can tie that on the inside of our sleeve. All right, and then you're gonna go through the hole and make, I did that upside down. We do not want our puppy upside down unless it's silly. There we go. All right. Anyway, what you want to do is make sure you're going through a stitch. If you go in those holes, it's not going to stay as secure. And so you want to go through a stitch. Let me show you back here. And keep it secure. Especially something like this, it's probably going to get thrown in the wash. And when I make these, I do suggest that you throw them in the wash with your maybe kitchen towels, and then don't put them in the dryer. They'll last longer if you don't put them in the dryer. Just set them on top of the dryer to dry. All right, and so now we have one that has a little puppy on it and one with a football. Aren't those cute? And it's a wonderful gift to give to your dad or to your mom or to anybody that you want to just make something special for. And remember, these cups, you can get those at the Dollar Tree, and you can write a fun message on a piece of paper and slide it inside. You can add photos or whatever that you like. So that's our coffee cup sleeve for Dad, Mom, and everyone.